for your... Thanks for staying with us. I want to bring in Francis Xavier Susu Madina MP, who also is a human rights lawyer, joining us via Zoom now. On the latest that we're receiving, of course, the bipartisan kind of support that we're hearing from MPs on the latest incident in Garu is the reason for which I want to talk to the Honourable Francis Xavier Susu is joining us via Zoom now. Thank you so much, sir, for spending some time with us here on The Pulse. The point about, military, and not just military, other law enforcement agencies going on rampage, attacking innocent civilians in the cases where we have any of their officers being attacked, as you're pointing out, must stop. But it does continue, isn't it, given the latest incident we've seen from Garu? First of all, what's your take on the possible legal remedies that's open to residents of Garu? And beyond that, as a member of parliament, how do you feel we can effectively tackle this?
Well, thank you very much, and very good afternoon to your cherished viewers. I think that the situation that we are having in the country today will continue to recur if the security apparatus would not stop using a very, very brutish way of dealing with what they claim to be an attack on security apparatus. We must understand that we are in a democracy, and the foundations of every democracy is what we call the rule of law. And rule of law means that in dealing with every situation, any and every situation, you would deal with them in accordance with law. Police officers, security officers are not different from any civilian. When a civilian violates another civilian, the remedy is either you report to the criminal investigations for the person to be dealt with in accordance with law. That is, the person may be charged for criminal, with criminal offense if there is evidence to that effect. If not, then there will still be remedies in the civil court for assault. But if the military or the military, for that matter, because it looks like that they have been at the forefront of this kind of attack in recent times. The military will continue in the manner in which they are continuing. They would have to understand that they are being completely lawless. There is nowhere in our laws that says that when there's an attack on a security officer or a military officer, you should go round people up and begin to beat them and subject them to all kinds of torture and dehumanizing treatment. And so I think that the military high rank, as well as the people who are managing that, the security services, would have to bow their heads in shame, because this continues almost every now and then, and we don't know when it's going to stop. If it continues this way, one of these days, the military is going to come face to face with the citizenry. And I can assure you that if they think that they have the power of the gun, they should remember that the power of the people can be stronger than the power of those guns, because they may not be able to withstand when the people mass up together to come and defend, themselves against their brutalities. And so I think it is time the military would have to go back to the drawing board and then maybe retrace its step and do the right things.
The question has come up again because we've seen several commissions of inquiry condemning these sorts of attack. The last one being the Garu Commission or committee working extensively on deployment of military and how they go into communities as well. Looking at what's happening now, I'm just wondering what problem the kind of probe you want to see in Parliament as minority will solve, because there's extensive work pointing out why the military should be contained in such circumstances.
Well, I think that, like you rightly pointed out, what as a people, we like paying lip services to things and do nothing about them. If you look at all these commissions of inquiries, what has been the outcome of those commissions of inquiry? How many people have been brought to court and punished for their involvement in such atrocities? How many military officers have lost their ranks on account of either supervising or leading or ordering such, violations of innocent citizens? And so not until we really take matters seriously and deal with people who violate others in that manner, ruthlessly in accordance with law, I don't think anything is going to change. And I'm hoping that moving forward, hopefully the parliamentary committees that are working on various brutalities will come up with very, very strong recommendations, which would, provide us like a clear pathway. I think that people who are found culpable must be punished. So long as people, lead these rampages, they supervise them and they go unpunished, it will continue to recur.
Okay, let's look at the parliamentary level now and what you in the minority are asking for. Do you feel that the speaker should be expediting work on this, or what approach do you intend to use?
Well, I think that the speaker would have to expedite action on this. We saw what happened at the a while ago at I think well, I think I'm just losing out
right
on that town near Tema.
The Ashaiman incident, you mean?
The Ashaiman incident.
Right.
Ashaiman incident.
Right.
Yeah, thank you. You know, we saw what happened at Ashaiman, and we have not gotten to the bottom of that. We saw what happened at English and Manfrom. We have not gotten to the bottom of that. I recall that there was one involving police, and so it looks like there is something fundamentally wrong with law enforcement in Ghana. I mean, how both police, the military are working, there's something fundamentally wrong. And it's so important that Parliament will provide the way out, because we are the representatives of the people. We are the Parliament is the house of the people. And so if these people continue to be violated in the manner in which they are violated and Parliament does nothing about it, what it also means is that the people are going to lose confidence in Parliament. So I'm really hopeful that the Speaker of Parliament will take special interest in this matter, and not only formulate this committee, but ensure that we can have a very speedy hearing of these matters so we can bring some people to book.
The question about even civilians and how they treat the security agencies in this Garu area specifically, there are countless, reports of how, because of the nature of the community, some security personnel have been attacked in the community. To some extent, some of them have been killed. Their activities have led to the death of some of these security personnel. Is that not also a factor to look at? Mob justice, which is also creeping into this community?
Absolutely. Definitely, that is something.
We might have just lost that.
Yes, okay. Right. What is the cause of mob justice? What are the causes of mob justice? Remember that it is when people lose confidence in the. It is when people lose confidence.
It appears that we're having some challenges there with Honorable Francis Xavier. So we just lost you briefly. If you could just take that point for me again, the issue about mob justice. Yes. We'll just, try and reconnect with Honorable Francis Xavier Soso, who is a human rights lawyer, also a Medina MP, speaking to us on this issue. Honorable, apologies there, we lost you briefly on the point you're raising about mob justice. If you could just take that point for me again.
We should ask ourselves, what are the root causes of mob justice? One of the fundamental causes of mob justice is the lack of confidence in the security service. Now, why would why would citizens want to attack? Why would citizens want to attack a police service or attack a military installation or attack any security installation? Citizens will do that either they are suspicious or whether they don't have confidence in the security apparatus, or they are not too sure why the security apparatus are there, and so on and so forth. That does not provide a justification for any citizen taking the law into their own hands. But I'm only saying that most often than not, people or citizens will take the laws into their own hands when they lack confidence in the security apparatus. And in dealing with those citizens, the security will not have to take the law into their own hands. So, because two wrongs do not make a right. So if you say that citizens are taking the law into their own hands and attacking security officers, and so the military is also taking the law into their own hands and attacking civilians, whether they were involved or not, then what you are promoting is lawlessness. And that is not what you want to see in a society.
The explanation we got from community leaders was that, they were simply adhering to government's see something, say something campaign, which forms part of the anti-terrorism mechanism. And these individuals involved then were not armed, were not necessarily using any uniform, identifiable uniform, a reason for which the community had to engage in the activities they did. And that brings up the issue about possible reforms to how national security is deployed and what sorts of engagements they should be involved in. Looking at this particular case, what's your recommendation on that?
Well, I would say that the national security itself has a lot to do because the national security and its operatives do not have any good image out there. And I am not too sure exactly how they carry out their operations, in which form. But if you carry out your operation as national security officers in a way that raises suspicions within the citizenry, then it means that you definitely need to reform your approach. I don't know how many times national security officers have come face to face with citizenry in a manner as it happened in Garu. But if what happened in Garu is anything to go by, it means that, there should be some other ways that national security officers, when they come in contact with civilians, can quickly identify themselves as members of the security. And perhaps if they have an ID card or they have a way of, validating or showing who they are, I don't think that citizens will simply jump on you and start assaulting you only because they see you as a strange person who identifies as national security officer. I think that there is more to this than that. And that is the more reason why we need to really investigate this, so that when you have listened to both sides and you have been to the community and you have all-round information, it's easier to make far-reaching recommendations.
Finally, there's so much anxiety in the community, the Garu community. Is there any message to the people there, looking at the level of escalation?
Well, I just want to, first of all, commiserate with all the people there and say that they just have to stay strong and know that these violations will definitely be investigated, and those who are found culpable will be brought to book. And they also to encourage them that, indeed, if you see something, you say something, which is
Okay, point well made there. Grateful for your time, Francis Xavier Sosu.